I used to think it was all about the client and, you know, the perfect brief, but actually I even thought it might have been about the polished image or even the next campaign. But to be honest, and for a while it was. That pace, that pressure, it became the rhythm of my life, but over time something really shifted for me. I started noticing how I felt, not just about the work, but about the process and who I was working with. And also what really drew me into photography in the first stages. And it wasn't about awards. It wasn't even about being booked solid or being the best at what I did. And lately, I've really been thinking a lot about where I started from and where I've got to. You know, I kind of thinking not just about the lens, but about the process, not about just the shoot, but the process, the gaps and those quiet frames that, you know, don't shout for attention on shoots, the in-between frames that I talk about sometimes, the shots that you take. I realised that I started to look more, I guess somewhere along the way, between retouching layers and briefings and pitching to clients, I realised I'd started to look more outward than looking inward at what I did. But the work that really stayed with me wasn't just about the biggest shoot or the glossiest production. It was about light, as we've got here. It's about the silence and the actual story. I like the way that light falls across the face, like the way that light falls across the subject matter, and you've seen it 1,000 times but never really noticed it. And whilst I was crafting with light, yeah, it was crafting with light, but I never really noticed. I was just trying to get to the end of the game, the end of the day. And lately I've really been pulling it all back. I've been less flash and more focus, and less speed and more space. So I've been trying to reconnect to that part of me that saw things before I was told how to shoot them, before even clients sort of suggested how I should work and what I needed to do for them. Not just for the work or the tips, but really for the seeing, for my seeing and my understanding of what I actually see when I take a picture. Also for the slow return to the purpose of photography, what photography has always been about for me, outside of client work. So if you're feeling that too, that nudge to stop and step back and take a look at what you're doing and maybe see things a little bit differently, well, stick around. So I've always found truth in the quiet moments and the light that lingers, not the light that screams at you and shouts out, take pictures of me. Maybe that's why I started in the darkroom, to take pictures and to craft the light that was available, not for me to add light and then to control it in the darkroom. When photography was slower, more intentional, and it taught me to wait, to understand the process, taught me to wait and see how it's going to develop, to watch to see what others might see. But the one thing that really never changed for me was the way I saw light and how I used light to tell stories.